You're listening to the Yin and Yang Show, a marketing and sales conversation with Lindsay Kelly and Brian Signorelli. Strategic and tactical advice about inbound sales and marketing.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Yin and Yang Show. Thanks so much for joining us. I am Lindsay, and as I have said previously, I have no Brian Signorelli with me. He is dearly missed. However, I have an absolutely fascinating guest here with me today, the one and only Brandon Lee. Hello, Brandon.
Hello, Lindsay. How you doing this morning?
I am well, thank you. How about yourself?
I am doing great. I am excited. It's Friday, and I always get a lot of work done on Fridays.
Fridays are good. They're very productive. Why is Friday the most productive day of my entire week? I don't understand.
So here's my philosophy on that. It's because we have the last day of the week to get all the things done that we were supposed to get done this week, and so we're much more focused.
That is probably the most accurate description of the productivity of Friday that I've ever heard. So thank you for that. Yay!
Awesome. Yay!
So it's funny because you said yay, and I'm like, oh, I need sound effects. So for those of you who have not heard the crossover podcast that we did, Brandon and I had a podcast on his Celebrate the Wins podcast about a month ago.
Yeah,
about a month ago. And I republished it, and we talked about a sales win that I had. And so he has his very own podcast as well as his own company. I'm going to let him tell you just a little bit about both because we want to make sure you guys can follow him too because he's fantastic.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So go ahead. Tell me first about your company.
You got it. So Yip Yip. And, as much as you like to talk to me about Sesame Street, it's a one for many platform in this world of blogging and social and digital. And we're all supposed to be out there with our own brand showing up in social. The challenge is, how do you help a lot of people do that when they don't have time? And so Yip Yip is a one for many platform, meaning that one person can create articles and social posts on behalf of many people, all with the push of a button.
And then we are using it with a client now, and it really is pretty cool. And I will say, from an engagement perspective, we're going to get into the meat of this, but reps don't have time for this sometimes. And as marketers, we beat our heads against the wall. Please share the social. Please share on social. please. And they don't have time. And so Brandon's product is absolutely amazing for helping get a clear and consistent message out and positioning your sales reps as experts. So on social media.
Thank you for that, Lindsay. I appreciate it.
Yes. And then tell us about your podcast because I want folks to listen to that too because I love it.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. So it's called Celebrate the Wins, and we do talk about sales and marketing wins, but honestly, it's also just about celebrating wins. In fact, I have a guest coming up that we're recording early next week, and she wanted to talk about one of her career wins, and I said, absolutely. So it's called Celebrate the Wins. And I believe that we just don't take enough time to celebrate our successes. I learned this with my kids when they were younger, that when we tend to say, and we do this as adults too, it's not just kids. You're like, hey, how did that go? The first thing we tend to focus on is what we did wrong. Boo, hiss, right?
Yeah,
who wants to do that? Because I do believe that we repeat the things that we think about. So let's think about the things we've done right. Let's think about our successes and repeat successes instead of thinking about and talking about all the garbage we did wrong. I mean, there's always room for improvement. So Celebrate the Wins is an opportunity for us to have 5 questions in 18 minutes or less and talk about the things that we did right and our successes and celebrate them. And I even do a little bit of a happy dance, which is just really embarrassing for my wife and kids, but I do it because I think successes are worth celebrating.
Oh, I love that. And it was fun to celebrate with you a win that our client had. And so I love that. You don't get enough of that positive message today out in our marketplace. So thank you for that.
My pleasure. I love it.
So today I want to talk, and I want this to be, kind of the format of stories. And I love telling stories, and I love telling stories about great successes that have to do with sales, marketing, selling, all of these things. And one of the reasons that I wanted Brandon to come on was because while we're kind of in our infancy stage in building out on the platform that Brandon has created, Yip Yip, we're building it out with one of our clients. We've just literally finally got everything up and running and started at the beginning of this month. So, we've had some great success with it. But Brendan, you have had some really cool stories of folks and how you got to the place where you realized that there was this void in the sales world on social. And you told me a story that I want you to share now with our audience so that we can relive that again, because that was exciting.
You got it. What story am I telling? I think I told you a lot of stories.
You did, but the one that you just told me, and she was typing and taking notes. That's how you started. I love that. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. So this was a person that is a global director of e-learning and social selling for a very large international enterprise, like, over 100,000 employees type company. So I won't say their name, but especially because they're still in prospect mode with us. They're still vetting us, which is great. But the conversation was, she goes, okay, so let me make sure I understand this. We can have some of our executive assistants, some of our support people, they could create articles and automatically publish them on behalf of their entire executive team and create the LinkedIn post to promote it and publish it for all of their executive team as if each executive did it themselves. And I said, yeah, that's exactly the way we designed it. She's like, oh my gosh, this is great. And I can hear her writing notes. And then she stopped, she goes, well, I do see one problem with that. And I was like, okay, good. What's the problem? How do we deal with this, right? And she said, we have spent millions of dollars over the last couple of years going around the world teaching people how to do social selling for themselves and building their own brand and using social selling activities to find opportunities and develop relationships and do all that. And it's like, did we do all that for naught? And she was kind of going, I said, well, I have a thought on that. Do you want to hear my answer to it? And she said, yes. And I said, okay, great. So I said, when you're training salespeople or executives or anybody about social selling, the first thing that we talk about is you have to show up with something to say, right? And that's like, I always equate it. You could go to all the live networking events you want, but if you sit like a wallflower in the corner and never open your mouth, it is a worthless networking event. If you are using LinkedIn Navigator, but you don't ever really say anything, you don't have your own opinion, and you don't talk to people, then yeah, social selling doesn't work. But it's not social selling that didn't work, it's you that didn't work. So I asked her about training, and it's about blog content, it's about consistently being there so that people see you and remember you and recognize you and all that. I said, then once you get there, then you talk about how do you engage in someone, how do you comment on other people, how do you engage, how do you build a relationship, when is the right time to direct message somebody and ask them for something further, all of those things, but you don't get there unless the foundational work's done. And so what we designed Yip Yip to do is to allow a single person to help lots of people show up consistently with articles and posts at the push of a button. So now what I think is the sales reps and the executives, when they get the alerts on their phones and they go, oh, I'll be glad to go engage, but for me to sit down and write a blog article takes effort.
Right.
So the cool part was I said all this and all I heard was click, 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 click. And I'm like, was it good? Was it bad? Did she like it? What did she think? And click, 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 click. And I'm like, are you there? She goes, yeah, this is really good. I'm writing it all down because this is what I need to say internally too. So success there and getting her going, I really like this. And so there's the story.
And that's awesome. And I want all of a sudden it came to me. I'm like, if I am, for instance, like I'm a HubSpot partner, if I'm a HubSpot partner sitting there listening to this, or a marketing person, they're saying, well, I can do that with HubSpot. Well, you can. However, there's a couple things that, you've pointed out to me and then I've come up with on my own as we're building this out for our clients. What you can't do is do it with a push of a button at one time and have the message go out at different times based upon the engagement of your LinkedIn profile throughout the day of different people with you. That was what really got me to go, okay, because I can go in and I can have all of my sales reps connect their social accounts through HubSpot, and then I can push it out. It's going to take me forever to go in and do that individually so that it goes at different times and has different messages.
Yeah.
Okay. Yip, yip, different messages, different times, one person doing it for everybody. And there it goes.
Yeah. Well, and I think the other piece that I really liked about it, and thank you for that, and just kind of setting that up and telling everybody about Yip Yip. I'm very grateful for that, of course. I think the other piece is what I saw. So back in like 2010, 2011, when I see HubSpot gaining momentum and this inbound and the funnel, and I kept looking at it going, I've been a sales enablement thinker for 20 years. It's how does marketing support sales? How does marketing support the revenue generators? Whether your product is very relational sale or it's a transactional, marketing needs to be designed to drive revenues, in my opinion, right?
Yes.
So,
I always say I live to serve sales, and some marketing people cringe and some sales
Yeah.
people go, whoa, did a marketing person just say that?
Yeah, exactly. Well, so what I saw happening was we've got this funnel and we want to drive a bunch of people to the top of the funnel, which is great. But one, how are we supporting salespeople in the process? If you're sending everybody to the top of a corporate funnel, how is that helping the salesperson? How is that also helping the buyer that wants to be connected to a salesperson?
On a human level, though.
On a human level.
Yes.
Exactly. So I know there's a lot of people that will say buyers don't want to be connected to salespeople. And I think in some markets, some services, you're 100% right. Right? With, say, Amazon as a transactional business, if I ever talk to somebody at Amazon, it's because there was a problem.
Right.
However, with a lot of other products, with your business as an agency, nobody's buying product from you without developing a relationship.
Exactly.
Right? So how are we with inbound strategies also helping the sales reps and getting buyers connected to a seller earlier in the buyer journey? And then I'll stop and throw it over to you. And when we have posts inside of LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, and we're begging people to share it, what I heard a lot from salespeople is, I'm not sharing that because if they go to the corporate site, I may lose my relationship.
Yes.
So being able to post into LinkedIn, have the article that was written by marketing, it's approved, it's on target, all of that, branded for the sales rep, and then when their network on LinkedIn clicks to read it, they go to a little microblog site that's branded for the salesperson to keep them connected, top of mind, and relevant. And now a salesperson is totally motivated to go, use my LinkedIn, use my Facebook, use my Twitter account, all you want, because it benefits me.
Yes. And that's a really important point, because when you're thinking about the disruption that technology has caused with the buying process between the buyer and the seller, you now are faced with a situation where you have to have your very own, what I call digital soul out there. So you have to position yourself as the expert. You have to be able to show your face, connect on a digital level with someone. I mean, I feel like I know some of the people that I follow, but dear Lord, I don't. I've never met them in person. And if I did, I'd be starstruck. You know, I had a big marketing person follow me on LinkedIn the other day. I sent him a message back. I said, I felt like, a celebrity just sent me a LinkedIn invitation. Thank you. I follow your stuff. I listen to your podcast. It's one of my favorites. And he sent me back a smiley face because, good Lord, this man probably gets 100 of these a day. But I felt like, I feel like I know him because I follow his content, because I see his face, I hear his voice. And that's one of the things that I love, is that our agency is able to take some of the great content from multiple bloggers across the organizations we work with, as well as, the people that we have writing, ghostwriting for folks. And we're able to take that content, reformat it just a little bit, because we don't want to steal the SEO juju, but we pick up that blog a week later, we put it in the Yip Yip platform and publish it across all of the pages of these sales reps. And then we share that out at different times. And so their concern is, what if they see that we both all publish the same thing? I'm like, well, you're all doing it at the same time. If somebody's sitting there staring at LinkedIn all day long and they see the same thing, I'm like, then I can't help that. But let's be real. I mean, social moves fast. And if somebody clicks on something and reads it, all they're going to do is think top of mind of you. And all we do is make sure that we're then internally linking some of those relevant keywords inside the blog post from that rep's microsite over to the website so that there's continuity between the two. And it's obviously it's designed just like the site. So it's a good user experience. At the end of the day, you need it to be a good user experience too, which you guys have helped create.
Yeah, and I think it's got to be a good user experience for the salesperson, right? Easy. It's all about sales support. And look, I am a salesperson. I, as an entrepreneur, I love sales. I love the marketing side, but I also know the personality of a salesperson. And honestly, we're kind of lazy when it comes to that foundational stuff. Like, we want to talk, we want to close deals, we want to have opportunities to sell, but doing a lot of that, foundational stuff, it's not. That's why you hear all the time, salespeople aren't tracking their sales activities inside CRMs. And it's painful to get them like, where's your pipeline? Who's where are they at? What's coming on? I don't have time for that. They don't do that. So there's got to be an easy user experience for the seller to leverage these modern tools that are just that. They're just tools. And if they're not used well, they're worthless. And getting a salesperson to use this tool is a challenge. So what we built was a platform that allows you and your awesome marketing team to leverage the tool personalized for every salesperson at the same time, so they show up looking great and can start having their engaging conversations.
And they're getting their leads directly.
Yes.
So what we've done with you guys, you have a capture mechanism. However, you also have the ability for us to take and embed our HubSpot forms directly on the sales reps pages. So if somebody wants to get in touch with one of our sales reps, we have a form right there. And so basically, at the end of the blog, there is a call to action. It does lead to the ebook that we have created as marketers, that we've now rebranded for every single sales rep with their picture on it, thanks to the Yip Yip team. I'm sure I'm going to have to start doing that myself soon, which will I'll be like, I got to add that to the teamwork task list. But what we do is we take that, and their contact information is now on the front page of the ebook that we're offering. And then when somebody goes to download it, it looks like it's this sales rep's ebook. They're completing a form that we have embedded on this microsite that you guys have helped us build, and it goes directly into HubSpot. Then it triggers an email directly to that sales rep, as well as his manager. And now I've captured that in HubSpot, and it's become a deal.
Happy dance.
Now we're cooking with gas, right?
There you go.
So it's a really great experience for the reps who are able to now get information directly instead of somebody filling out a form on the website and then having to have it, distributed out through the marketing contact or the head of sales. Now they're getting that notification directly. And it's just a great experience for everyone all around.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and thanks to you and your team, our next big release in November, so 3-4 weeks away, when you put something into HubSpot at the corporate blog, it's going to automatically get libraried into Yip Yip. So you could just pull up and go, hey, we want to use that article. You can edit it if you want to, have some SEO strategies where it's not exactly the same. You already got the SEO value. It's been on your corporate site for a week, but you could edit it and then choose which group of sales reps you want to publish it for.
Yep, which is super cool. We're really excited about that. Because now we do have to take and copy and paste and reformat. But it's not that big of a deal. It's an extra step. However, having that integration to be able to pull the blogs that already exist on HubSpot directly in as an agency, because we've had other tools that have done that, where it's like, pick which portal you want to pull stuff from and then create your thing. And it makes life so easy and so simple.
Then the next step that I really like this part as a sales manager, I love this part of Yip Yip, if I can say so myself, is the leaderboard. So you're tapping into the competitive nature of salespeople so they can see how their engagements are comparing with other sales reps. So each sales rep will be able to see where they at on the leaderboard, but within their own dashboard too, they'll be able to see what their connections are reading on their blog site. What articles by tags are people reading, so they know, hey, this is what my audience is currently interested in. This is what they're reading, and they can comment on it. They can, repost articles from their history that they've done before on those same targets or on those same topics. And they have this very simple tool that helps them do social selling activities much easier and better.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we had also talked about, just to kind of bring all of this full circle, is, I pulled up a report online from, where is this from? Case Productivity. They did the typical sales rep percentage of weekly hours, and they did a breakdown of where they all spend their time. And unfortunately, there is no social piece of pie in this pie chart. And I think that's a shame. I mean, it probably lives under the 4% miscellaneous. But think about all the things that sales reps have to do. If somebody kind of, like you said at the networking event, you just got to push them in the room, get them out there, make them say something, and then conversations begin. Right. That's all we're doing here, is we're kind of pushing them into the social room and giving them a voice and allowing people to start engaging with them. And once that happens, they'll pick up the ball and they'll run with it. And then there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Very good. So Brandon, other final words of wisdom that you have for folks before we go, and also share your how to get in touch with you?
Yeah, I think the two things that I seem to be like my hammers lately have been, don't just take the next shiny thing. Like really, really look for tools, and even ours. Like, we may not be a great fit for everybody, and that's okay. But there's so many options out there now, and there's so much noise. But really look at, what are you trying to accomplish, and then choose the tools that are going to help you do that the best, which is a bit of a dust statement. But so many times I hear people go, oh, we have, X CRM system. Like, great. How are you using it? Well, really no one uses it. What a waste, right? So it's be smart and strategic about the tools that you're buying. But then the other thing is train. I said this the other day with somebody, and they were like, I never thought about it that way. That is really good. I said, because this person I was talking to was like, yeah, social selling, waste of time, doesn't really work. I'd rather just have people pick up the phone. And I said, look, the phone is just a tool. It is just a tool. It's a communication tool. If the person in your company that's picking up the phone and making those outbound calls is not trained well with sales or relationship building, the phone will suck too.
Yeah.
Don't blame the phone because you haven't trained the person. Don't give people a LinkedIn Navigator account and they go, I did my job. They should go be awesome at social. Oh, it didn't work. Social selling doesn't work. It's just illogical. But I think because we're still in that infancy of this whole social selling, social media, we're looking at it as social media, and it's not. It's not social media. It's a communication vehicle. It's a platform to build relationships with lots and lots of people quickly.
Great point. Absolutely. And I mean, think of the amplification. I mean, we talked about that too, just the amplification of the message. I mean, if your reps have 1,000 people in their LinkedIn community, right, and they're sharing that, and somebody likes it, and then somebody else sees that they liked this, and it's amazing how the message can spread.
Well, and at that point too, you can tell salespeople, which they love to hear, right? Okay, what we really want you to do is go out and start connecting with more people on LinkedIn.
Right.
Not blog. As soon as you say go blog, they go, yeah. Right? But hey, go meet more people. Most salespeople, if they're trained and they've done it for a while and they take their craft serious, they know how to go out and build relationships with people.
Yeah.
Go do more of that. And then we're going to help you show up and open your mouth with content and posts so that you look like an expert, that you look like a thought leader. And a lot of them are experts and thought leaders. They just don't take the time to actually write it and talk about it.
Exactly. So give them the voice out there and let them get started.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, Brandon, how can people find you?
We are at goyipyip.com is our website. I would love people, please contact directly with me on LinkedIn, which if you know the linkedin.com/in/, and I am Brandon 1EE because Brandon Lee was taken.
Well, and I'll make sure I link to you in the show notes so that when I put it up there, I put it out there in the podcast land.
Yep.
we'll have your
So
direct
the
connection.
3 platforms I use are Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn more than anything. And so I connect with business people on all of those. I'm not one of those that says Facebook's personal and LinkedIn's business. I think any opportunity to communicate with people and build relationships, if you're going to use it, show up and use it well and use it strategically. But those are my 3, and I connect with people there.
Awesome. What's your Twitter handle?
Brandon1EE.
There you go. Easy enough, folks.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, and as always, you can find me on the Twitters at LV Kelly, Kelly with an EY. And folks, thanks again for giving us your ear for this time, and we appreciate it. Until next time, keep the conversation going.
Keep talking.
You've been listening to the Yin and Yang Show, a marketing and sales conversation with Lindsay Kelly and Brian Signorelli. Join us online at yinandyang.fm.